Did you ever felt limited while using Bricks Builder native form? If so, this video is for you. Hi beautiful people, my name is Jimmy from the Webonaut. I hope you're doing good. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'll introduce you to Dynamic Toolbox and their Bricks form field, which will open a ton of possibilities for you to create almost any form you'd like. Thank you to Dynamic for sponsoring this video. Without losing any time, let's roll the tape. Before we jump into Bricks, let me tell you quickly what Dynamic Toolbox is. Dynamic Toolbox is a specialized toolkit that adds extra features to Bricks Builder. Basically, it lets you do things like turn form entries into PDFs, create add to calendar buttons, and build dynamic charts or maps directly in your layout. It's the plugin you grab when you need to build more than just a static page and need real functionality like calculators or interactive elements without hunting for a dozen of separate tools. Now, let me show you what we'll be doing today. So here I have a staging site and it's a leasing car site, all right? And then here we have a get your quote now, and that's exactly what we'll be doing. So first we're gonna use some very basic fields like the first name, family name, email, the most basic from Bricks. And then we're gonna be using other fields, all right? But let me show you exactly, let's fill this form so you can see exactly what's gonna be happening. This should actually be hidden. So just picture it as hidden. Okay, so we're just gonna put Jimmy, perfect, and we're gonna put my family name, and then we can put an email, and here we can choose our country code. So we're just gonna stay on the United States, and as you can see, we have the format of the phone number already pre-written there, so that's pretty cool. And then when you type yours, it takes directly the format. All right. Then we're going to choose a car brand. We're going to go with a Peugeot, and we're going to take a car model, which is going to be a 208. And you can see it appears here. Normally this field should be hidden. I'll explain you why later in the video, of course. Now we're going to choose the color, let's say diamond black. And here we have the range field, and this is the living length. And as you can see, we can choose 12 months, 24, 36, 48, and it goes up to 60. And here we have the kilometer number that you want per year, and the price is 25 cents per kilometer. And you can put here from 1500 to 10,000 kilometers a year. And here you see we have a full resume of what we just filled in. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. Let's jump into Bricks. Okay, I guess it goes without saying that you will have to install the plugin, activate the license, etc., etc. I presume you're all familiar with that process. We are now into Bricks, and we have here a section, and inside that section, we have a container, and we have a wrapper, and then we have, for now, a heading. All right, so we are gonna jump straight away into adding a form. So let's click on the plus icon right here. On the search element, we're gonna put form. Here it is, just click on it and it will add automatically. We have some preset fields. We're just gonna delete those for now and start from scratch just to be sure that we all understand what we're doing. So here we go. First, we're gonna start by adding a text field. So let's click on add field, and the type is gonna be a text, so that's good. The label is gonna be first name. In the placeholder, we're gonna put your first name. In the attribute name, we're going to put first name as well in small letters and with an underscore in the middle. And for the width, we're going to put 50. Now that we have our first field, let's just duplicate that one, and we're just going to bring some changes here. We're going to change from first to last in the label. Same for the placeholder. Of course, same for the attribute name. And we are going to leave it at 50. Okay. Before we go any further, you can see that the columns are right next to each other. So we're just going to give it some space here. Let's just go under in the same category. So you go to the field and go down. You see field spacing. We're going to put 5, and we're going to put 5 on the other side as well. As you can see, we have a bit more space. You could use, of course, variables as you want. Let's save it and go further. Okay, the next field we're going to add is an email field. Let's click on add field, and we're going to choose this time for email. So let's see where it is. Did I miss it? Email. And then we're going to put the label. We're just going to call this email. In the placeholder, we're going to put your email. And we are going to use an attribute pattern. Well, first in the attribute name, we're going to call this email. And in the attribute pattern, we're going to just put this. And this pattern ensures that we have actually an email that is valid, all right, with the @ and the domain name at the end. Let's put the width as well at 50%, and we're done with our third field, okay? Those are basic fields that you find in Bricks native form. All right, now we're gonna add a field. And when we go into the type and we go all the way down, you can see here that we have different fields with the logo of Dynamic in front. And those are all the additions that you get from the Toolbox plugin. And the first one that we're going to use is international phone, and it speaks for itself. But here we're just going to put phone. Of course, the attribute name, we're going to put phone here as well. We're going to put a width of 50, and we are going to put enable validation checked. Awesome. That was the fourth. Let's go to the next one. This time we're going to go for the select, and we are going to call this car brand. In the placeholder, we're going to put choose a brand. Perfect. In the attribute name, we're going to put car brand. We're going to put a width of 50. And now it's time to put some options. So here I have different car brands, and we are good to go with this field. We're going to click on add field, and the next one is going to be a dynamic select. So we're going to look for the dynamic select that is right here. And in the label, we're going to put this as car model. Attribute name, we're going to put car model. In the label, we're going to put car model. We did already. And in the width, we're going to put 50. The source field that we have right here, we are going to put here car brand, because we want to connect this one to car brand. So what does the dynamic select? Basically, let's say you would like to have a car brand. We have here Peugeot, Renault, etc. And on the next select field, you can select the model of the car that belongs to that brand. So that's what we're doing now. We set this by setting some rules. So we're just going to add an item, and in the source value, we're going to put, for example, Peugeot, which was what I created in my car brand right here, Peugeot. Okay. So let's go back here, and we have Peugeot in the source value, and in the options, I'm going to put all the options I want, but you're going to see I'm going to put some options and I'm going to add some values. And as you can see here, we have to put the label and then column and then value. So that's what we're going to be doing. I have them already ready. I'm going to copy paste them directly. So here, what do we have? We have here my label and my value is 0. Okay. Then the next one here is the label. It sounds a bit like confusing because all the Peugeot cars are actually with numbers. But those first are the label, as you can see right here. All right, so all these are the labels, and these are going to be the price per month that the customer is going to have to pay. And we're going to include that value into a calculation later so they can see exactly how much they need to pay per month. All right, so I collected this, that's great. And I'm going to do the rest for all the other options that we have. So I'm going to be doing the same for car brand, and Renault, Citroën, DS Automobiles, and Alpine. It's exactly the same principle as this one, so I'm just going to repeat it one more time. We're going to go here, and we're going to add an item. Our second option was Renault. That's what we're going to put here, and we're going to put the options right here. Okay, same principle. Select your model, it's €0. If you want to rent a Clio, that's $259 per month. And then if you want a Megane, that's $299 per month. A Captur, that's $359. Austral, $399. Scenic, $459, etc., etc. You could put any value you want. But that's the value I set up here. I have 2 or 3 other brands to make, and I'm just going to copy paste those, and I'll be right back. I'm done adding all my options. As you can see, I have Citroën with all the models here. I have now DS Automobiles with all the models here, same way. And then here we have Alpine with also the same models. Once we're done with it, we are going to go and add a new field. And this time we're going to look for label mirror. And what does it do? Well, basically here we have the car model. Okay. And in those rules, we have, like I said, the label and the value. The value would be automatically taken over the label if I wanted to play with the value of that field. And that means that now I want later to display the label of that. So therefore, we're going to use the label mirror. And for this, we're going to be putting it here, and we're going to call this label mirror car model. And we're going to put here mirror car model. And then we're going to choose our source field here, and we're going to choose for car model, and we're going to hide in form. And we're set with this label car mirror. Let's save it and go to the next one. The next one is very basic. It is just a radio buttons, and we're going to put this like this. We're going to call this choose a color. And we're going to call this color. And in the placeholder, we're going to put choose a color. And let me put the different options that we have there. All right, let's go to the next one, see where we are. It's time to add the range field now. Let's go here, add a field up. Let's go all the way down and we go to range here. Okay, and the name of this one is going to be leasing length. That's going to determine how long you want to rent the car for. Okay, in the attribute name, as usual, we're going to put leasing length in small letter with an underscore instead of a space. For the value, we're going to put this as 12 because 12 represents 12 months. We're going to put the width at 50. Okay. The minimum value here, we're going to put 12 and the maximum value, we're going to put 60. So you can rent the car up to 60 months. For the step, we're going to put 12. And that means that every time you try to move that range cursor, it's going to move from 12 to 12. So from 12 months to 24, from 24 to 36, 36 to 48, etc., until we reach 60. Okay. And we are going to display the value. Check. Good. Now we're just going to basically duplicate that one because it's about the same. We're just going to change this to kilometer number and we're going to put per year. And also we're going to put that it costs 0.25 cents. Oops, I forgot the euro sign. 0.25 cents per kilometer. In the attribute name, we're going to call this kilometer underscore year. The minimum value will be 1500. The maximum value will be 10,000. The step, we're going to display that every 500. And we want the display value check. All right. The value, of course, is not this. We're going to leave it as empty. Okay. Next, we're going to start to calculate things. So let's just save that. If you want to see where we're at the front end, we are here so far. We have the first name, the last name, the email, the phone number where you can choose which phone number format you want. Then you can choose your brand. Let's say a Peugeot. Then you can see we can take a 208 or whatever we want. You could also just choose for something else. For example, a C5X. What a weird name. Anyway, you can choose the colors. And like I said earlier, you see when we move our cursor, it moves from 12 to 24. And that's due to the steps that we wrote to 12. So now it moves to 12 automatically every time we try to move that range field. Same here, we said 1500 in the beginning to 10,000 in the end. And as you can see, it moves every 500 as well. Okay, now the fun is going to start because we're going to start adding some calculation to the field. So let's just go back here, add field, and we're going to go this time into a calculator. And we are going to call this in the label calc kilometer price per month. All right, so why are we calculating this? It's because here, as you can see in our kilometer, we said that it was per year. So I want to know how much the kilometers are going to cost per month so I can add this at the end to the price of the car. Okay, so we have the calculator, label is calc kilometer price per month. It doesn't really matter because we're going to hide this field anyway, but at least you keep things proper. And we're going to put here calc underscore kilometer month. And in the calculator expression, we are going to call our form. So for this, we're going to just put a parenthesis, open parenthesis, and we're going to write form to call our form field dot, and then put the attribute name of the field you want to refer to. So in that case, it's kilometer underscore year. And I want to multiply this by 0.25, which is the cost of the kilometer. That tells us the price on 1 year of the kilometer. Now, I want this to be on 12 months, so I'm just going to divide it by 12. And that's pretty much it. You have your formula already ready. And we're going to hide it in the form. So we're going to go here. And what happened here is that later you will see in the tutorial that when we display that, we end up having some very long decimals. So we need to format that. And for this, we're just going to add a field. And we're going to go all the way down again and use the formatted number. And in that formatted number, we're just going to put this kilometer price per month. And in the attribute name, we're just going to put formatted kilometer month. The source field is calc underscore kilometer month. Okay, so what happens here? I want to format this number. So we need the attribute name of the calculation, which is calc underscore kilometer underscore month. And now that we called our field name, we are just going to put here the style as decimal, and the decimal place, we want it to be 2. And of course, we don't want to show this in the form, so we're just going to hide it in the form. Next, we're going to add another field. It's another calculation field this time. And let's go back to calculator here, and the name will be final calculation. And in the attribute name, we're going to call this final calc. And for the calculator expression, we're just going to take the price of the car model. So we need to call the car model field. And how do we do this? We open the parentheses and we put form. And this time we're going to put car model. So what happens here? It's going to take the value that we set up in the beginning in the car model. So the value that we put in our rules here, the Peugeot, for example, the 208 costs 259 per month. And that's basically what we're trying to recall in that final calculation right here. Okay. So we're not going to close the parentheses. I'm sorry. We're going to put this with a plus because we want to add now the price per month of the kilometer they chose. Okay, so we're going to call the form, and that was calc underscore kilometer underscore month. And this time we can close the parentheses. And basically, we have our formula ready. We are just going to hide it in the form. And same as earlier, we're going to create a formatted number. So let's go back there, create a formatted number. And this time in the name, we're going to put final calc. And in the attribute name, we're going to put formatted underscore final underscore calc. All right. Now we're going to put in the source field name final calc because we want to format the final calculation. And we are going to choose again the style decimal. We're going to put 2. Awesome. And we're going to hide it in the form. Great. And now that's where we're going to see our magic happening. And we're going to add a field right here. And we're going to take the live HTML. And basically what happens is now that we have our field, we want at the end to have basically a resume of all the entries that people chose right here. Okay. And how do we do this? Well, let me show you. We're going to call this resume. And so it's very simple. So we're going to put first your first name because we want to recall the first name of the person that registered for the quote. We're going to put column and we're going to call curly brackets 2 times. And we're going to call form.first underscore name. Next, we're going to jump a line. So we're going to put the BR bracket and we're going to put your last name here, and we're going to put double curly bracket form dot last name. See the importance of naming the attribute properly so you can easily remember what they are and what they mean. So in the live HTML, for example, or in a calculation, it's just very easy for you to so you don't have to look back and forth in the attribute names that you have in the different fields. And I see that I made a mistake right here. So let's just change this to first so it can work. All right, let's save this, see where we are at in the front end. And if I put this, you see here, we have the live HTML. So we're gonna put now Jimmy right here, and you can see it appears automatically right there. So this is working, it's awesome. Let's put my family name and it works as well. Great. Let's go on further for the next one. And we're going to jump a line again. Let's put this, and the next one will be your email. And we're going to put again, double curly bracket form.email. I guess you understood by now. We're going to put again, jump a line. And this time we're going to put chosen brand and car model. You can put this, and then we can put double curly bracket, and we can put form, and that was car brand. And then we can go here, put a space. And so for the car model, it's going to be a bit different. We're going to have to go back into the label mirror car model, and we are going to go and take this attribute this time. All right. So the mirror car model. Why? Because like I said earlier, if I put this attribute name, it's going to show me the value of it. instead of showing me the model that we chose. Okay. So we are going to go to the label mirror, and that was called, I can't remember this one actually. You see, it's important, but I did not remember that one. So it's mirror car model. Let's go back to our resume here on the side and paste it. Let's just, whoops. Let me add the curly brackets first and then paste it. Yes. And first we need to put form as well. All right. Now it should be working. Let's see if that works in the front end. We have my first name. Awesome. We have here the email works as well. And oh, I see that we forgot to put actually the phone number in the resume. So we will do this right after. Anyway, let's just choose a brand, and we have here a Peugeot, and select the model, and we have here the 308. So it's working as expected. This is great. Let's go on and add our phone. So it's right here, and we're going to put your phone up, and we're going to put that form.phone. Okay. And we're going to jump a line again. Same for this one. We're going to jump a line again. So now basically you have to apply this to any field that you want to show in the resume. So I'm just going to copy paste what I already did. So now that I copied everything, I just want to bring your attention that I use the formatted version of that field and here as well. So we end up having the formatted number with a decimal of 2 after the decimal. Let's see where we are in the full process. I think we should be good around here. Let's save it and go to the front end and see where we're at. We're going to put the name, email, phone number. Here we go. And then we're going to choose a Peugeot. We're going to take a 208, and then for 24 months and for 3,000. Okay. So what happens here? We have the name correct. Then we have the family name. Then we have the email address. Then we have the phone number. It works perfectly. We chose for a Peugeot 208. So that works great as well. And the car costs per month are 259. So that's the price of the Peugeot 208. If we would choose this to be different, we see that we have all the values that we set up with those different rules there in the dynamic select field. So that works pretty well. And here, as you can see, we have the kilometer costs per month. And this is basically the calculation that we created of 25 cents per kilometer per month. Okay. And at the end, you can see the full resume. You will be leasing the car for a total amount per month of €340.67 for 24 months. And when we change this, of course, it changes here as well. Now let's go back real quick to our form. And basically, I didn't change anything in the actions, although here you could see that you have new ones. So you could generate a PDF, for example. You could set a max submissions. There is so many ways you could use those functions. Now that we're done with this, we're just going to set a last feature that we can do with this is actually conditional logic. We're going to hide some little things like the car model need to be changed and will only appear when the car brand is selected, for example. And also the resume that we have here, we'll let it appear only, for example, when they chose the car. So we don't have to see anything empty up front. So let's do that real quick. We are going to go and select our car model field, which is here, which is the dynamic select one. We're going to go all the way down, and here you can see field display condition. This is a really great feature because it really allows you to create any forms you want adding conditional logic. So we're going to add a condition, and it's really, really straightforward. We're going to go here, and as soon as the car brand is not empty, then we want this to appear. So let's see where we are in the front end. As you can see, the car model disappeared. And as soon as I choose a model, obviously the other options are showing up. Next, we are going to set up for the live HTML to have also some conditional logic. So we're going to be here and we're going to say, okay, so the condition number 1 is that we want the car model not to be empty. Okay, it will only show when the car model will not be empty, but we want to add another condition, and we're going to put this, and we're going to put, okay, the first name also should not be empty for it to show. And so all the fields that we have before that one, we're going to put them as not empty. And that will allow us to really have a control only when they fill the full first part of the form, then they can see the resume appearing. So where are we at? Last name, the email. Awesome. We're going to add a condition for the phone. Oops, for the email. Sorry, I forgot to put here is not empty. For the phone here is not empty. Perfect. What else was there? And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. So we're going to save this and see if it works. Okay, so I'm going to put my name, email. Okay, it's still not showing, so we're good. Let's put a phone number. Let's put a car model, a car brand, sorry. And here we have the model, so we're good. Hit select and boom, as soon as we have this, it appears automatically. So like I said in the beginning of the video, this opens so many doors of possibilities for you to use the Bricks native form in combination with Toolbox and create amazing forms. And of course, thank you to Giovanni, his team, and Dynamic for sponsoring this video. And as usual, guys, stay sexy, keep spreading love, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.